Hey everybody, it's Dana and welcome back. Today we are playing with the Hero Arts September 2021 My Monthly Hero Kit. It is so full of fall goodness and I cannot wait to share with you. So as always, we have a stamp set. We also have some beautiful dies. And the best part about this month is we have the color layering stencils. This makes coloring up your sunflower so super easy, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how easy that is. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Misty, and I'm starting off with a larger piece of Dove White cardstock. This is larger than I'm going to need, but I want to make sure that I can get this gorgeous sunflower all onto one panel so I can die cut it out a little bit later. And also it gives me a little bit room too for when I do my stenciling. So as I place that into my Misty, I just want to tell you something about this kit. If you are not a subscriber of the kit, you're really missing out, because if you're a subscriber, every single month you're automatically going to get the kit. You're also going to get it at a discount. And remember, once these are sold out, they're sold out. They're not coming back in stock. So if you love this kit, you really want to pick it up. I mean, I've had a chance to make several cards with it, and I'm a huge sunflower person. So this stamp set, the coordinating dies, and the stencil are right up my alley. So I am using my Hero Arts Intense Black ink, and I'm going to stamp that down. Now I want to make sure I get a crisp image. So I did kind of take off some of the residue from the residue that we get on new stamps, and I used the palm of my hand to kind of condition the stamp. Now I am going to go ahead and stamp that twice because I really want this image to be nice and crisp. Now if I was smart, I could probably just leave the stamp in here and restamp it after I went ahead and did my stenciling, but I didn't have time for that right now, so I just decided to double stamp it. Once I know I have a good amount of pressure, I can go ahead and lift up that lid, and you're going to see these gorgeous sunflowers. I mean, they look gorgeous just like that, like not even coloring them, and they're absolutely gorgeous. So let's go ahead and get into the stenciling. So there are, I believe, 4 stencils to this, and you're going to first start with the larger opening stencil. So I'm going to call that like stencil number 1. That is going to give us the base color of our sunflower. Now I did use a little bit of mint tape to hold my stencil in place, and now I'm coming in with my Lemon Drop Reactive ink. I love this ink. It's such a pretty happy yellow color. I am also using my Hero Art blending tool, my blending brush, just making sure that I have everything lined up, and now I can come on with the color. So you can see how bold and happy this reactive ink is and how well it works with my sunflowers. Now, of course, you can do your sunflowers in any color you want. I know sunflowers are yellow, but hey, if you want to have some blue sunflowers or some pink and purple sunflowers, it's paper, baby. Do whatever makes you happy. So I'm just loading it up to make sure I get a good concentration of color, because you know I want my sunflowers to be happy, so we have to have a lot of that bright yellow. Now all I need to do is go ahead and peel this off, and we already have layer 1 done. That would have been a lot of time to go ahead and color all that. So with me showing you how easy it was to layer that first image on, I did go ahead and speed this up a little bit. And I'm bringing in the second color. I believe this color was Butterbar, but I'll have all the products that I use listed below. And I'm coming in and I'm going pretty full strength with this, because already some of that stencil is covering up the yellow underneath it. So once I remove this, you're going to see now I have a 2-tone. Look how gorgeous that is. It would have took me hours to color this. So now I'm coming in with the 3rd layer, and the 3rd layer is going to do the inside of the sunflower. So I'm using, I believe this was soft brown, and I'm just going to hold my stencil in place because these areas aren't really big, so I didn't feel the need that I had to tape this down. I'll remove stencil number 3. Now it's time to come in with stencil number 4. And this is going to be the detail part of the innards of the sunflower. And I'm using Reactive ink, and this is root beer. Now you can see how quickly I'm able to get this done. I mean, again, if I was coloring, this would take me a long time. Now that third stencil does have the outlines, or should I say inner parts of the leaves. The fourth stencil just has the leaves. So you can build this up. Again, layering stencils here. So you're going to first put down your first color, which is going to usually be lighter than your second layer. So I'm coming in with field greens here, and I'm going ahead and putting that in. Now I did decide on my color palette before I started. So I already had my colors set off to the side. I knew what colors were gonna work well together. And I would tell you, anytime you already set up your colors, it makes creating so much easier. So pick your color palette, have all your tools ready, and you will fly through creating, because then you're not second guessing what goes with what. Here's that fourth stencil to put in those built up of those leaves. And then when I take this off, look how quickly I have gorgeous sunflowers. I mean, come on, it could not get easier. Could not get any easier. And we have that great definition, and you see the color variants, absolutely gorgeous. I do want to lighten up some of this. So I did grab a white color pencil, and this is going to allow me to add a little bit more dimension to my sunflowers by adding in some highlighting. This is a perfect way, even if you're just Copic coloring, this is a perfect way to lighten some of the areas up and to also give like highlights to your cards. I'm going to do that for some of the sunflowers, and then you can see I'm also doing it for my leaves. So you can really see over that lighter green, I'm really building that up a little bit more and making it pop. I really like doing this technique when I'm coloring, even when I'm not filming a card, because I really just feel like it adds a lot of dimension to a flat surface card. So just those extra little bits really help. I also want to kind of darken up the center part of the sunflower. Again, this is a step you don't need to do, but I like to kind of add a little bit more depth. I'm using a brown pencil at this point. I'm just kind of doing like little tiny circles just to kind of give the feel of texture in the flowers. You can also do this if you want it with a jelly roll pen. That'd be really pretty if you did it with like a brown jelly roll pen. But again, I'm not going overboard. I'm not covering up everything that I've already colored with the inks. I just want to give this a little bit more texture. Now I can come in, because as quickly as it's colored, now I can get on to making the card. Now I do know that some of our design team members did color this with Copic markers, I believe, and it's stunning. And I believe there also might be some black and white versions of this. It's so pretty, you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine, and we're gonna go ahead and start working on the background. Now this background stamp, these are Leaves in the Wind bold print, and I am using palm cardstock for this. I don't really want to take too much away from the beautiful sunflower, but I really just don't want to put it on a plain piece of paper. So I decided that these beautiful leaves will go perfectly as the backdrop for my sunflower. So I went ahead and I placed it in my MISTI, and I have my palm cardstock, and I also went back to the field green ink. This is kind of going to give me a tone on tone. If you didn't have the field green ink, you can also do this with the embossing and watermark ink as well. But this is just going to give me a subtle background, a subtle amount of color. And again, it's just really adding like a textural vibe to just a flat card base. Once I have that pressed, I can flip over my lid, and look how pretty this background is. It's going to work perfectly. So now it's time for my design. I want to have most of my sunflowers towards the bottom of my panel. So I do know I'm going to be trimming off some of these pieces, but I'm not going to let them go to waste. I'm going to save those pieces, and you're going to see how I get a chance to reuse them. So if you ever try this technique when you're cutting partially off your image, hold on to them. You never know what you can create with them on the top corners of cards. So now where I know I have my design and where my layout's going to be, now I know where I'm going to have an area for my sentiment. I am going to grab one of the sentiments from the My Monthly Hero August 2021 kit, and I'm going to place that right above my sunflowers. So again, planning out your design also helps you know where you can place your sentiment if you want to have one, and it doesn't kind of stress you out later saying, oh my God, I didn't leave room for my sentiment. So planning your or sketching your card in advance will totally help you achieve a great look. I am going to heat emboss this, so I do have my powder tool. And I'm going to use white embossing powder with this because I have the outline of the white for my die, and my card base is going to be white, so I might as well marry all of those things together. Remember, I said I've already worked in advance on what my color palette was going to be. So I'll go ahead and press that down and have a great impression, but I just want to double check this because I am on a little bit of texture from the leaves, and I just want to make sure that I get a firm sentiment here. So once I see that I have a firm sentiment, I can go ahead and grab my embossing powder and I can heat set this. I think this will also look gorgeous if you did gold embossing powder and maybe some gold splatter. I think that will also give a great look to this card. Or hey, even embossing the leaves in the background in gold. That's another option. So I'm using my my paintbrush to clean up some of that extra. And then I can go ahead and heat set this. This is such a beautiful stamp set. I am in love with this. And I love that you're a bundle of sunshine because that's, you know, that's to me what sunflowers are all about. They're like a bunch of sunshine on a stalk. Now I'm going to bring in my scoring tool, and I want to make this a standard A2 size card base. This die would also look great on a slimline card. Or if you wanted to do a 5x7 card, it will look gorgeous on that as well. So just remember, you can stretch your stamps by using them on different size card panels as well. So again, I pulled in that white onto that top part. So everything now is matchy-matchy, and I love it. And now I know that my sunflowers are going to look perfect because I did mask out or leave that room at the top for my sentiment. So in order for this to work, I want to temporarily adhere my sunflowers to my card panel before I trim it off. So I'm just using a little bit of adhesive here, just placing it on the bottom. And then I have an opportunity to kind of trim off the pieces that I don't want, and it's not like shifting. And also this gives me an opportunity that if I kind of want to change my mind a little bit, I can still do that because this is not glued down permanently yet. So I'm just using my larger scissors here and trimming off what is overhanging on the card panel. Now remember, I said I'm not throwing those away. I'm still going to use them. So look how gorgeous that is. That bunch of sunflowers right across the bottom looks fantastic. And now I can go ahead and use my tape runner and go ahead and adhere this to the card base. Now the card base is also made out of the Hero Arts Dove White. And I'll just place that down. Again, I still have an opportunity to kind of move those sunflowers if I need to. Press that down. Everything looks good. I'm good to go with this. So now I'm going to go ahead and peel that back up and really put a lot of adhesive on here so it actually stays in place this time. And then because it's already trimmed down, I can just line everything back up the way I wanted it, and I can press that into place. Now really doing those leaves in the background were just perfect. It's just a little hint of whimsy behind those sunflowers. Now remember, I still have those pieces that I trimmed off the card. Remember I said I wasn't getting rid of those, right? So now I'm just going to come in and grab a few of those pieces and lay them now out above. So remember, if you trim something off and it's still a pretty piece left, Use it on your card. Don't get rid of it. See where it can fit before you just trash it. So now it kind of looks like I have sunflowers kind of peeking up from the top and the side. And that really does now draw your attention right into the center of the card. So those pieces are not going to go to waste. I would go ahead and grab my Hero Arts Precision Glue, since these are tinier pieces, and I can place those around the top and the sides of the card. It really ramped up this card a little bit more for me by using those leftover pieces. I call them like little filler pieces that, you might have just thought, well, I've already cut this off, I don't need it. But just kind of hold on to them and see if you can work something out with them. Now, I couldn't use all of them, but I do like these tiny pieces here that it can kind of feel like the sunflowers were moving across the card panel. So I have my glue on that one, and then I can go ahead and press that into the corner. I am going to grab my tweezers for this and line that up. I mean, and look how perfect this card is. Again, all the products I use are linked in the description. If you love this card, please feel free to leave me a comment, like, and share. I will see you guys in another video soon. Until then, stay safe and stay creative. Bye-bye, everyone.